At this time, please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
We'll go ahead and call the meeting to order tonight. This is the District 1 Board of Trustees meeting on November the 13th, 7:01 p.m. The first item on the order tonight is the chairman's report, and that consists of the consent agenda, and of that is the approval of tonight's agenda, approval of the policy work session minutes from October the 9th, 2023, approval of the check registry, and approval of overnight field trips. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I second.
Got a motion by Mr. Sloan, a second by Ms. Rogers. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Next item on the agenda is the superintendent's report. Dr. Mark Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and welcome to everybody coming out tonight. We're going to start like we always do. We're going to honor several of our students who've had some outstanding performance in the world of fine arts with our art students, and that'll be led up by Miss Erica Center, and then that'll be followed by Miss Jody Wright, going to recognize several of our teachers that have taken part of the master's program that the board so graciously funded starting a couple years ago. So this is, I think, our second cohort to graduate. Real big deal to help further our teachers' education. They're just really grateful for you guys funding that. So, and then we'll follow that up with some recognition of three very special folks that will be leaving us. So at this time, Ms. Center, please start our recognition.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, board members, Dr. Smith. Good evening. I am Erica Center, the Director of Elementary Programs and Fine Arts here in Spartanburg District 1. I would like to welcome all of our guests tonight. It is my privilege and honor to recognize 4 students that were selected as the 2023 Inman Mills Art Gallery winners. The Inman Mills Gallery is located just outside the boardroom in the hallway, and I'm excited to be adding 4 new beautiful masterpieces to our gallery. I would like to extend a very special thanks to Inman Mills for their continued partnership with Spartanburg District 1. Thank you for your support in spotlighting the incredibly talented students that we have here in our district. I would also like to extend a special thanks to Inman Frame House for their expertise in the matting and framing of the artwork. The artwork that we are recognizing tonight was submitted at the end of the 2022-2023 school year. Winners were categorized into 4 areas: kindergarten through 2nd grade, 3rd through 5th, 6th through 8th, and 9th through 12th. We will begin with the kindergarten through 2nd grade category. When I call your name, if you will come to the front for the unveiling of your artwork and to receive your certificate of recognition. The winner for the kindergarten through 2nd grade category is Cooper Rivan. Cooper is the son of Matthew and Brittany Rivan. Cooper is a current 2nd grader at New Prospect Elementary School. His principal is Brianna Wright, and his art teacher is Stefano Lance, and was Mackenzie Revels at the time the artwork was submitted. Without further ado, I present to you, we need a drum roll, Brown cow, what do you see? Cooper used a mixed media of both tempera and crayon. The judges stated that this piece exhibited a whimsy charm with the position of the cow. Very impressive work. Congratulations, Cooper. That's sweet. Great job, buddy. You want to slide it down that way? Thank you so much for helping orchestrate this. Yes. Our 3rd through 5th grade winner is Kira Voitinko. Kira is the daughter of Dennis and Ganna Voitinko. You can make your way to the front, Kira. Kira is a 6th grade student at Campobello Groundland School. Her principal is Jeremy Darby, and her art teacher is Retta West. Without further ado, I present to you. You can help pull it if you'd like. Lake of Trusted Souls. Kira used oil pastels to create this masterpiece. The judges stated that this piece was very detailed with a strong presence of student voice. Congratulations, Kira. Our 6th through 8th grade winner is Madeline Smith. Madeline is the daughter of Shannon and Amy Smith. Madeline is currently a 9th grader at Landrum High School. At the end of last year, when the artwork was submitted, Madeline's principal was Dr. Amy Walker, and her art teacher was Amy Jo Root. Her current principal is Dr. Keegan Flynn, and her art teacher is Haig Williams. Without further ado, I am honored to present to you Marigold. This masterpiece displays the technique of scratchboarding. The judges stated that scratchboard is a very difficult art medium. They also stated that this piece exhibits exquisite mark making with great attention to detail. Congratulations, Madeline. Our 9th through 12th grade winner is Alexis Conlon. Alexis is the daughter of Derek and Cody James. She is an 11th grade student at Chapman High School, where the current principal is Matt Davis and was Dr. Andrew McMillan at the time the artwork was submitted. Her art teacher is Ashley Burnett. Without further ado, I present to you Illumination. The judges stated that this charcoal piece shows great control of the medium. The judges also stated that this piece shows great attention to detail with strong contrast and is very thought-provoking. Congratulations, Alexis. Thank you again to Inman Mills for their continued support and our school board members for allowing me this time to spotlight what I think you would agree with me when I say amazingly talented students in Spartanburg District 1. Let's give all of those students one more round of applause. Please know that you are welcome to stay for the entire board meeting, but we also understand that you may not be able to. At the conclusion of the entire superintendent's reports, we have a few more items. You will be given the opportunity to be dismissed. And you notice that they transitioned the artwork to the hallway, and that will give you an opportunity to take additional pictures. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Dr. Smith. Good evening. I am Jody Wright. I am the Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum and Instruction, and it is my pleasure to recognize teachers who completed their master's degree through the partnership with Upstate and Spartanburg One. Please come forward to receive your certificate that has from the Board of Trustees, but it also has a pin inside from Upstate. And you should have received tonight also a poster near your seating. And if you didn't, I will get with you to get you one from Upstate as well. And please come forward as your name is called, and we will get your picture made. And I would like to begin with Mrs. Rebecca Burrell. Ms. Lynn Lance. Ms. Jessica McIntosh. Ms. Kimberly McAfee. Ms. Parker McDonald. Miss Lauren McGill. Miss Donna Mills. Ms. Cassidy Pruitt. Miss Nicole Bright. Miss April Seymour. Miss Tori Smith. Miss Amanda Thomas. Miss Hillary Thompson. And Miss Tracy Thornton. Miss Caitlin Powell could not be with us tonight, but let's give her a round of applause for completing as well. And finally, just as a friendly reminder, please stay seated until Dr. Smith finishes the special recognition of service. And then after that time, if you will meet out into the hall to get a special group photo, we would appreciate it. Again, congratulations.
Isn't it fun to recognize 3 different groups of people? Starting with our kids, and wasn't that artwork amazing? That's the closest I'll ever be to greatness right there. I was a sports guy. That was my thing. I was never blessed with talent like visual art talent, or I love to sing, but my wife says I can't. But I just wasn't blessed in those areas. But to watch children in all of our schools get an opportunity to share their amazing gifts, whether it's sports, the arts, all the different things we're able to provide, it's truly amazing to see greatness. And that's what we saw tonight. And then to watch those teachers who have worked to add to their education. And that is not easy. Going to school the first time is hard enough. And when you put on top of that a job, families, just want to thank the school board again for investing in our teachers. That is the fruit of your labor. And great job, teachers. And, hallelujah, it's over. And, keep going. Keep going. I have found that with the degrees I've gotten, if you pay enough money and annoy the professors enough, they'll eventually give it to you. So I didn't even have to be smart. So I just kept going and going, and they finally gave it to me. But one more round of recognition, and this is extremely, extremely special, because we probably don't do this enough, honoring the folks that are sitting before you that serve for absolutely nothing. And we have 3 that have served us well. And we're going to take a few minutes tonight to recognize those board members. I'm going to start and ask my Miss Kim Ross to join me up here. Kim absolutely loves attention, don't you, Kim? No, she asked me, she said, do I have to do this? I said, yes. But I would like to recognize Miss Kim Ross. She has served this school district in our community for the past 2 years. And Kim brought us through a very tough time with the passing of Mr. Lee, and she stepped in admirably to fill Gordon's seat. It's been a blessing. I've known Kim my whole life, and I never thought 2 Pauline people would meet back up in Campobella. But the Lord has a big sense of humor. But you have served your community and your school district well, and this we're going to miss you. So great job.
I do want to thank my board peers for trusting me and selecting me to serve in Gordon's seat. It has been an honor and a privilege. To those of you in the community that don't get involved with your board often, I would encourage you to do that. This is a thankless job. Lots of hours are spent here, and you don't realize the work they do. So please, please get behind them. I know I am. Anything you guys need in the future, I'm always here. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Ross. Miss Brenda, come on down. Miss Brenda Rogers. I've just been here less than a year, and I don't even know where to start. I feel like I've known Miss Brenda forever. And she just has that personality to where when you meet her, you just know, first of all, she loves you and that she's going to take care of you like mamas and grandmas do. But Miss Brenda graduated from District 1 schools, I believe, Chapman. So she went to school here, and then she came back here, and she taught for 35 years. Amazing. All in District 1, right, Miss Brenda? And then now she has served the last 8 years as a school board member. So Brenda has a different perspective as a child, as a teacher, as a community member, and as a board member. So amazing work from Miss Brenda, and just always so kind and compassionate. But even in my limited amount of time here, if I want to know something that's going on with teachers and staff, you know who you call? Miss Brenda. She listens very well, and she always has just that open door policy. And Brenda, we're going to miss you, and you've done an outstanding job as school board member. Please give Miss Brenda a round of applause. You absolutely.
Okay. 8 years ago, when I first decided to run for the school board, I ran because I was a teacher of 35 years. I had always been told I couldn't do this and I couldn't do that from this giant invisible rule book. I wanted to see how the rules were made. I wanted to understand who made them, and I wanted to know why they made them, and maybe I just might change some. And the more I thought about it, District 1 needed a teacher on the board. They needed a female teacher on the board. So I decided to run and represent the female teachers that we have in our schools. I'm honored to have been the voice of our teachers for the past 8 years, and while serving on the board has been an enlightening experience, I think it's time for me to call it a day. I decided not to run this year because I'm 76 years old. And I decided after going through all that stuff with Gordon Lee that I didn't want to cause the district to have to spend that much money and spend that much time picking somebody in case I had to leave my seat. So I decided that was one thing. And the other thing, nobody wouldn't talk to me about building anything. And I got tired of talking about it, and they wouldn't listen. So I decided, well, if they're not going to do that, I might as well just quit and go do something else. So I volunteer at any school that asks me, and mostly this is gingerbread house season. And they had talked to me about having surgery on my hand. I said, oh, nope, this is gingerbread house season. We cannot talk about that till January. And so I decided that I feel like my time would be better spent in the schools themselves, interacting with the students and teachers I've grown to love for 2 years. All I've heard is the sky's falling in, and everything in the district is awful, and I just don't agree with that at all. District 1 has been and always will be one of the best schools in the entire state. It has produced young men and women that are thriving on a national stage. In fact, in 35 years here, I have seen District 1 students go on to become teachers, assistant teachers, teachers of the year, principals, assistant superintendents, school board members, school resource officers, bus drivers, custodians, lunchroom staff, doctors, nurses, seamstresses, nurse practitioners. There's a bunch of them. And you can't go to the hospital without seeing somebody from District 1. And most of the time it's okay, but sometimes it's embarrassing. So that was a real shock the first time I had to do something with somebody that taught me. Okay, I've taught police chiefs, firemen, policemen, one Secret Service person for President Clinton. I don't know if he's still with him or not, but maybe so. Military members, helicopter pilots, financial managers, preachers, missionaries, one missionary in Vietnam for 20 years. A professional mermaid, chiropractors, restaurant owners, golf course managers, hairdressers, lawyers, writers, mothers and fathers, chef, and contractors, Miss South Carolina, and one NFL football player I fed every day I saw him. So I take credit for some of his action. And he just had to stop by and eat on his way to the lunchroom so he could make it there. And those are just the students. That's just some of the students I've taught myself. There have been countless students to leave Landrum and Chapman and gone on to do great things. And that's been a constant since I've been here. I'm a successful District 1 graduate. My children are successful District 1 graduates, and my grandchildren are successful District 1 graduates. I could not be more satisfied with the 50-something years I've spent here. And the only regret is that I could not have done more to give. I truly hope that the board members who are already here and the ones who were just elected will carry on the legacy of District 1. And remember that this job isn't about them. It's about rewarding our students, parents, faculty, staff for the tireless work they put in every day and putting them in the best possible condition to thrive. Thank you. I have enjoyed it. It has been a blessing, and I hope I left something for the people here.
I told you, if you met her once, you've known her your whole life. Thank you, Brenda. And last but certainly not least, I'd like Mr. Travis Sloan to join me up here at the podium. I don't know where to start. I'm definitely not adequate enough to give these few comments and don't deserve to be standing here giving these comments to this fine gentleman standing here, because Travis Sloan has served this school board and this community for 20 years. 20 years as a board member, as a chair. Have you been vice chair? Vice chair. I think Travis has hit all the roles. He has served as chairman of the finance committee. If there's a role, he has served it, and you hear that word, served. I did some calculating today, and I was a social studies guy, so this is going to get dicey. But I did some figuring, as we would say, where I grew up. And Travis, I think you have been to over 200 monthly school board meetings. 200. Now, I love you folks up here, but my experience has been their meetings last a long time. So you think 200, that's a lot of time. I have figured out, I think you have roughly attended over 60 school board work sessions, which are in addition to the meetings, such as budget work sessions, building and grounds, and so forth. I also believe you have attended over 200 school board lunches where you go to the schools and eat with the kids and the faculty. And then last but not least, I believe you've attended well over 100 committee meetings, many of which you chaired, on finance or building and grounds, and that's 100 more there. So I think you've, in your 20 years, and this is a conservative estimate, I think you've been to over 560 meetings. That's incredible. And how much did you get paid for that? Absolutely nothing. And that's what I think as school people, I've been a school person my whole life. I've worked for school board members my whole life. I think we forget that they're doing this job for nothing. Think of the countless days, hours, weeks, months, and years that Travis has spent away from his family, his beautiful family, with Kim and the 2 children, that he has given freely of his time to this community, all for nothing. I don't know of anybody that loves District 1 more than this man or this community. So, Travis, we are indebted to you. We're grateful for you, and we're thankful. And thank you for all your years of service.
Well, Mark used all the stats that I was going to use. I was going to brag about that, but I plan on spending a lot of time with my wife since I've missed her for sounds like about a year and a few months. So I do want to thank my wife for supporting me on the school board and being a teacher in this district at the same time, which is another tough thing to do when you're the husband and the wife in a school board situation. But I want to let you know that lady right there earned everything she got, and she earns it every day. And there are children that are coming up to her wherever we see her, wherever they see her, that tell her, Miss Sloan, Miss Sloan, Miss Sloan. And that's what it's about. That's what it's about. I want to go back into the last century. 1988. Tell you a little bit about 1988. I went to Clemson, and I thought I'd get some applause out of that. Amen. Say it, brother. Mr. Holden. 1988, I'm sitting in an economics class in the Baptist back and listening to a lecture go on. I'm sitting beside a fellow my age from a neighboring district. And I've shared this story, I think, before with some of our board members, but this guy could taught this class. I'm like, holy cow, what am I into? Because I wasn't ready. I was not there. Fast forward a little bit. 2000, our little girl was born. Kylie. Early, full of life, ready to go. Knew we were going to District 1 schools. 2002, our son was born, Turner. Several folks had asked me and encouraged me to run for the school board for 2003. Had some folks that would be rotating off and had just encouraged me. Holly Springs, I lived in Holly Springs, and even though we represent the whole district in every school, nobody from that area had run in probably 10 to 12 years, I guess. And so I said, okay. Number one, 1988 flashback to me and my kids. My kids were going to be starting school within a couple of years of my first term. I wanted District 1, when they got to college, I wanted District 1 kids to know what that kid beside me knew from our neighboring district. I wanted them to be on the same level coming out of any school in Spartanburg County. I was elected in 2003, came on with some fine men and women who served this district proudly. I have served with many board members. I think I counted up around 30 over 20 years, 30 different board members. All of them, I learned things about public education. I was raised in public education. My dad was a 38-year teacher veteran. I was raised to understand public education. I was proud of public education, but it was my time to serve. I ran for the board, got a seat. I think I was the lowest vote getter at that time, and which is fine. Last one, still got a ring there. So came on the board and had a chance to really get involved. I thank Dr. Jimmy Littlefield for exposing me to so much within public education that I had no idea about. Just like Brenda said, the way things are done, the policies, the procedures, the staffing, the needs, all that goes through from here down to Columbia and to Washington, D.C. He encouraged me. He built me up. He taught me. He let me be a part of the committees. He let me be active. Fast forward a few more years, Dr. Ron Garner came on. Same thing, move the target, move the bar. Student-centered education came along in 1988, 89, Mr. Rollins, somewhere that logo came into. That's what District 1 is, student-centered right there. That's what we've got to stay. It's about the kids, it's about them every day. I can say today, my children, my daughter graduated from North Greenville. She's at the Medical University of South Carolina. She was square with people going into her school. She was even. My son's at South Carolina. Go Tigers. South Carolina. He is holding his own with the folks that are coming into South Carolina from every district in this state. I am so proud of where District 1 is because of the folks behind them who pushed it through to change what, not that I was disappointed. I had to work a little harder, study a little harder, figure out some things, but these kids leaving District 1 are even with the kids leaving Spartanburg County all across the board now. And I am so proud that that's something that I can say I served with. I didn't do it. I served with people who got it done. I served with the superintendents. Dr. Smith has signed on to carry this on. I served with the teachers. I've served with everybody that had a part in it. I'm a servant. I am going to continue to be a servant, an advocate for public education. I'm going to advocate and serve with these guys here and the newly elected and you old guys who are on here, and not old, but experienced guys. I'm going to continue to be available. I want to help. I want to be a part of it. I'll see these Holly Springs teachers in every Thursday that I do good news with our church. I want to keep talking to them. I want to see them. I want to know the one that got baptized in our church. I know him. I want to know he's getting the best education in Spartanburg County. And right now we are. We've got to stay on point with that. One more thing. Ms. Rogers, I challenge this board, not for Ms. Rogers, I challenge this board for the children of District 1. If one grade level has to be in an overcrowded classroom because lack of building, you guys build them a building. Holly Springs, do we need room? Shout out now. Holly Springs, yes, these guys will figure out. We're not here to waste anybody's money. These folks don't want to waste your money. But nobody's child should be in an overcrowded school with the ability that District 1 has to build buildings. Today, get started. New board members, I'm challenging you. Get started. Advocate. I don't want my grandbabies, if they're still here, to be in an old school. This man right here doesn't want them to be. He wants them to be in a good learning environment. New Prospect, same thing. Let's start bulldozers. Let's get them going. It is time. We've waited. Do not wait on it to get to you, and we have to pull a portable in, or we have to sacrifice a technology room with a partition. No. It is time. We have made it student-centered. Bite the bullet, build the buildings. Let's do it. The last thing I want to say is, with my dad being a teacher, his friends were teachers because you know why? They had spring break off and they can go fishing. So one of my dad's best friends was principal at Lone Oak Elementary. And Tommy Van was he was a football coach. He was everything that he could be. Never had any children on his own. He and his wife were not blessed with children, but he had 600 a day in Lone Oak Elementary, or whatever it was back then. Tommy passed away of cancer in my senior year at Clemson in 1991. I went on those fishing trips with my mom and dad, or with my dad and Tommy, and learned a lot from sitting in a boat, rocking, not catching any fish. But one thing that he put in my graduation packet, a little note to me, that when I graduated Chapman in 1987, we'll miss Wanda Moore McDowell, that I try to live by. And this is it. I shall pass through this world but once. Any good, therefore, that I can do, or any kindness that I can show to any human being, let me do it now. Let me not defer it or neglect it, for I shall not pass this way again. Stephen Gurley. I believe if we can hold that together, this board can hold that together, hold this as a theme moving forward, and be good. Be good to people, do the right things. This district will continue to be, we're District 1 for a reason. We are number 1. Thank you.
great times. The board members, as is custom in District 1, they will be receiving their rocking chair for their retirement. So we have those for you. You could take those home tonight or another day we can schedule. That's up to each board member retiring off the board. But thank you so much. At this time, I'm going to open it up to any school board member that'd like to say anything in regards to our outgoing board members.
There's a whole lot I'd like to say, but I'm afraid I can't. It's been such an honor to serve with you, Travis. Your leadership has been remarkable. And Ms. Rogers, you have that knack for keeping that ear close to the ground, getting the pulse and the direction of the wind and the situations that you're dealing with. And you always deliver critical information, and we appreciate it. And I look forward to what both of you will do when you leave this group. But your impact on this board will affect the lives of our students for years to come, and we appreciate you.
I just want to say thank you. Thank you, Ms. Rogers, for being a teacher and a servant, and for Mr. Sloan for his leadership and his service attitude. Ms. Ross, thank you for joining us for a little while to fill in some gaps. But I want to say thank you, and I want to reflect on what Ms. Rogers said. I just wish I could have served more.
Amen.
Thank you all for that leadership.
I want to say thank you, Ms. Ross. You stepped in during a time that it was tough for a lot of us, and you've stepped in gracefully and willingly. So we appreciate the 2 years that you spent with us. Just by show of hands, who in here was or had a class with Miss Rogers?
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, for those that can't see, there's a lot of hands out there. So when she's, listing off the different occupations and things that people have gone on to be, that's impactful. And Ms. Rogers, you are a District 1 treasure. And Travis, I just want to say my respect for what you have done and been able to do. 20 years is a long time to serve in a capacity like the board. And I know exactly what you meant when you said you're going to, when I became chair, you said, if you need my help, I'm here. I realized pretty quickly I knew what you were saying. So I appreciate that, because 20 years is not just something that you do. It takes fierce dedication to that. So thank you for your time and your dedication to District 1 and the students of District 1. Anybody else?
Mr. Chairman, that concludes my report then.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Smith. Okay. At this time, we'll take a 5-minute break. You are welcome to stick around if you would like, but the rest of the meeting is the business portion and can sometimes be a little boring. So if you would like to leave, now is the time to do that, and we will reconvene in 5 minutes. Thank you. There you go. Yeah.
I told her, I said, I don't care if it's double wide with the kitchen. Y'all make Brenda Rogers be okay.
Okay, if we can find our seats, we'll try to get back to business at hand. Yeah. Okay, we're back. I failed to mention at the beginning of the night, but we do have Mr. Skinner on the phone here. So we do have at least one thing to vote on, so I just needed to let everybody know. Mr. Skinner, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. And you can hear everything. Okay. All right, the next item on our agenda is the public participation. Tonight, speakers will be given 3 minutes to speak. Please keep all comments relative to the topics indicated on your request form. You may offer objective comments on school operations and programs that concern you. However, the board will not permit in public session any expression of personal complaints about school personnel or against any person connected with the district. Tonight's first speaker is Mr. Caleb Mickler.
Good evening. I'm here to address the board before a profound vote takes place. Last month, I spoke before y'all providing my testimony on how IJL jeopardizes the integrity of one's constitutional right to intellectual freedom and creates a dangerous precedent. What hasn't been fully addressed is how the majority of those books in question discuss serious matters concerning history, social constructs, power dynamics, and discrimination. Taking that away to sanitize what is accessible is just a grand disservice. Restricting and or removing books or collections from access is a form of censorship. Implementing this kind of district policy will rip away choice and the rights of the student and their parents and legal guardians, which alone positions the district for legal peril that this board is fully aware of, since attorney fees already have amassed into the six-figure range over $150,000 this last year and a half. Again, this is being covered by us, residents. I don't know about y'all in this room, but I'd rather much prefer that money be spent elsewhere, perhaps supporting teachers in our district, as going by school report cards, the salary for District 1 teachers was cut while other districts in the county have gone up. Wouldn't it be great for those scarce education dollars to be used to support our educators through maybe incentive pay in order to retain and even recruit, since this district is struggling in that, or cover their school supplies instead of paying a lawyer, or rather find a more permanent way to ensure students of D1 receive free breakfast and lunch, as nearly 60% of students meet the poverty line. Furthermore, with this policy, I'm concerned about the materials review committee on its appointment process. Will there be an application process that's open in which we'll be able to view those applying for the public to view, as well as those potential reading materials and collections that will be challenged? As a reminder, these endeavors have to be transparent and not done behind closed doors. In closing, let me say, with your vote, have it be of your conscience and not of any outside pressure. Let it not be in order to stand in good favor with partisan leadership and those within executive committees. This is a nonpartisan capacity in which you chose to serve our greater community, and its greatest investment, our youth. Sensationalizing national movements from excerpts taken wholly out of context, especially around education, will get us nowhere. As such, those outside groups are going to try and wield their influence. If last Tuesday's election showed us anything, it's that our community supports true advocates who are willing to be an independent voice. If you are truly about freedom, student rights, and their parents, then you wouldn't implement a policy which takes that away. Therefore, I encourage those champions to not vote in favor of IJL. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mickler. The next speaker is Miss Erin West.
Good evening, board members. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. My name is Erin West. I have 2 girls in the district, Chapman and Mabry. Our family specifically moved here because of the reputation of District 1, for its leadership and successes that have always been praised for. Sadly, the strength and the forward motion of this district has been in question the past couple of years. Makes my heart hurt a little bit. So I'm here tonight to remind the board of the nonpartisan responsibility you have, and frankly that you owe my children, our community, your employees, and the faculty of this whole district. Total effort to move forward with book banning and censorship has really moved into nonsensical at this point. The data and facts shared prove that the impact of the books in question is minimal, even if it exists at all. So for a moment, I would ask you to imagine what that effort could accomplish if directed at factors that truly do have an impact on the lives of our students and our employees. What could we accomplish with unified efforts thrown at true problems? What could we accomplish if we focus on the district and not the political ideologies of a few board members? What if the board actually served District 1 instead of its own personal or political agenda? When I've reached out to district employees and students, I get the following. We're short-staffed. We don't have enough staff to support our special ed students. I've not been trained properly for the things I'm being asked to do. There's a seriously outdated dress code. Ask my girls. There's boys running around half naked and shorts shorter than my girls can wear. I can't go into the bathroom without inhaling vape smoke. The kids at our school are having sex and doing drugs in the bathroom. That came from a 7th grader. I don't feel supported or listened to by the board members. We can't keep the school staffed for the number of students coming into the district. My guidance counselor doesn't have time to actually provide guidance to me. No one wants to drive a bus. Mom, there's a gun at school today. Mom, a girl sent a sex tape to our entire team today. So I know a lot of people have come up and spoken to you about the words in books. How would you feel if your child was forced to look at it on her phone? I've never once heard from the current students or staff that they have concerns over books available in the library. At the heart of a successful educational system lies the development of quality human beings. This involves cultivating a nurturing environment that fosters not only academic excellence, but also emotional intelligence, empathy, and ethical decision-making. In order to achieve these goals, it is essential to keep politics out of the educational sphere. An apolitical approach helps maintain the integrity of the educational process and ensures that students receive an unbiased and well-rounded education. We should all be working together to create an environment where open dialogue and diverse perspectives are encouraged. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. West. That concludes our public participation agenda item. The next item on the agenda is the personnel report. Dr. Trish Beeson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Board members, at this time for the month of October, we do not have any retirements to report. I think that's a good thing. Resignations, effective the month of October, we have 1 resignation for your approval.
Okay, we have the recommendation from staff regarding the resignation. Do I have a motion regarding that? A motion by Mr. Holden. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Rollins. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
We do not have any employments for you to approve at this time. However, we have employed several folk in some vacancies that I think bear mentioning to you tonight. We have hired several bus drivers, bus driver aides, as well as custodians. And those were some areas that we did have several vacancies, and we're really encouraged by being able to find these great folk to fill those positions for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Beeson. The next item on our agenda is the policy report. Ms. Jada Tesnier.
Good evening. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Board of Trustees. Tonight, we bring to you the second reading of IJL, IJLE. There are no changes from the first reading.
Okay, tonight we have before us the second reading of policies IJL and IJLE. They remain unchanged from the first reading. Do I have a motion regarding this agenda item?
Make a motion, we accept the policy and approve it for a second reading.
I have a motion to approve the second reading by Ms. Baker. Is there a second?
Second.
A second by Ms. Rogers. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. That concludes our policy report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Tesnier. The next item on the agenda is an executive session to discuss superintendent evaluation. Do I have a motion to go into executive session?
Second.
Motion by Mr. Holden, second by Mr. Sloan. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. We are now in executive session. Okay, we are now out of executive session. I had a motion to come out of executive session by Ms. Baker, seconded by Ms. Rogers, and it was a unanimous vote to come out of executive session. Do I have a motion that no action was taken while in executive session? Motion by Ms. Rogers, second by Mr. Rollins. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. In accordance with the district policy and the superintendent's contract, the board has completed the informal and interim evaluation for the superintendent and found his performance to be satisfactory. Per the contract, Dr. Smith's first formal annual evaluation will be scheduled for November 2024. Having no other items on the agenda, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. We stand adjourned.